Stephen Blaisdell, CS467 Spooky Mansion Mystery Team, Week 5 Progress Report. So this week I've been working on extending and polishing some of the classes that I'm working on. I've created some classes based on things that I found that weren't working previously. Namely, before items were just a dictionary of items, and you would take it out of one dictionary and put it into a new dictionary. I realized I'm actually going to need an object to be able to do some of the things that I want to do, like being able to link it. It's a lot easier to do it, a lot cleaner to do it with an item, being able to link it to features in the room. So a feature, right, is another class I worked on this week, which is a feature is something in the room that you can interact with. So a desk drawer, a couch, something like that. You can do something with it, right? And so these features, right, they have state, right? They have pre-action, in-action, and post-action state. And based on their state, they return a different description, right? So if you say, look at the couch, and you haven't touched the couch, it'll just say, hey, it looks like a comfortable couch. If you say, flip couch, right, it'll say, okay, there's a knife laying under the couch, right? So that's in-action description. And then if you take the knife, right, that'll alter that state, and it can say, this is where you found the knife, something like that. So that's been really key to making it more interactive, right, and making sure that stays there. Because we don't want you to come back into the room and say, oh, there's a lumpy old couch, right? You know that there was a lumpy old couch. You interacted with it already, right? So the features and the items, linking them together. It's also done quite a bit of work in the game class, implementing some additional verbs that you can do. And again, I'm not using the language portion for this. I have to, say them specifically. But things like look, right? So look it's relatively complicated to look at something because I don't know whether it's an item that's in my inventory, it's an item in the room, or it's a feature in the room, right? So I have to be able to look through all of those things and return whatever item it is and the correct description. Because again, my description for features can be different based on what state they're in. So I have that working. It's not exactly all that clean, but I do have it working at this point. Currently, our code is not working great just because we are implementing something called tasks. And a task is going to be something that you have to do to win the game, right? So those are going to be another class that, you complete these things, these 6 things, or whatever it is, and you actually finish the game, right? So I would show it, but better just to show the code right now. So this had implications. So the room, right? The room has a lot of different actions that you can take on it. You can take things, you can drop them, you can perform actions on the features, and it'll change their state. So a couple things that I struggled with this week: initializers, right? With Python, something I learned. You can't just pass it a list of stuff and copy that list to a new list. Every single room was coming out with the exact same lists in them, and I could not understand why. It was getting the correct JSON from the load and everything like that. It took me hours to figure out why that was. And so essentially all you got to do is initialize these to empty lists. It seems to work now, but that was really, really painful. Another thing I'm working on this week, kind of slowed me down a little bit, was that we are using curses in our, matter of fact, I will show you that. We're using curses library. CD space dot. Let me do this real quick before I run out of time. We're using this curses library here, right? That doesn't work on Windows. It doesn't work on. It doesn't work in PyCharm. It is really difficult. So I had to change my whole system around. Right now, I have 2 different things going on. I have WSL right here, and I'm utilizing VS Code to interact with it. But I also built an Ubuntu machine with PyCharm on it so that I can be able to do that as well. So that took me quite a bit of time to figure out that whole thing. But that's something we thought was pretty cool, and we're going to hopefully be able to utilize that. We know that we had requirements to be able to support these verbs, but this was actually a lot more difficult, and just taking user import new game, right? That's not all that fancy. This is actually a lot cooler. So hopefully that is okay. So those are the things that I've been working on this week. Thanks. Bye.